All right, full body assessment in the mountains. Make sure when you're doing this, we're trying to keep everything still except for an individual part of the body. So we irradiate, we squeeze everything else in the body to try to keep it still at like a 30-40% effort, or I should say a little bit greater than that, in order to try to funnel our work into whatever our moving part is or the intended part is. So just keep that in mind. We're going to start out with the neck. We're going to make our way down to the toes. Starting out with the neck, hands are at the sides. We'll just kind of keep the shoulders down a little bit. We want to try not to let them lift up, move forward, backwards, anything like that. It's just the space between the base of the skull and the top of the shoulders that's going to be moving right now. So getting started here, I'm just making sure I'm not going to fall backwards. Here we go. I'm going to tuck my chin towards my chest. I'm moving one vertebrae at a time. There's 7 of them. So I'm moving like almost an inch, half inch at a time here. Chin gets towards sternum, maybe it can contact, scraping it across right collarbone, bringing right ear behind right shoulder, and then looking up to the ceiling or to the sky. I'm turning to the left, dropping chin outside of left collarbone, scraping it across center line, and then I come on up right. To do the same thing again, I'm just going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to go to the left this time and then to the right. So here we go. I'm going to drop chin towards chest, one vertebrae at a time, from my skull down to the base or the top of my shoulders, scraping chin across the left collarbone, left ear behind left shoulder. Chin moves up to the sky. Great view. Looking to the right. Drop chin outside of right collarbone, scrape it across center line, and come on up right. You get another rep in there in each direction if you wanted to, but we'll carry on with our routine here for now. So here we go, moving into shoulders. What I'm going to do for my shoulders is I'm going to make sure my hands are glued to my sides. Your palms are going to want to lift off. Try to notice that. Also make sure that your index finger glued to the inseam of your pants or the side seam of your pants. So try not to let them sway. The elbows tend to want to bend and the spine, neck want to wriggle around. So we're keeping all that still. We're gliding just shoulder blade around the shoulder. I'll give you a side profile to start. I'm going to reach both shoulder blades forwards. I'm going to keep them forwards and lift them up. I'm going to keep them up and pull them back. I'm going to keep them back and squeeze them down. Same thing, I'll give you a forward view. We're going to reach in front. We're going to lift. We're going to pull backwards. And we're going to drop down towards the floor. And do the same thing going in the opposite direction. So we'll pull backwards. We'll lift up. We'll stay tall. We'll reach forwards. We'll pull down and back. We're kind of adding one direction and removing one. So we stay backwards, we lift up, we stay up, we come forwards, we stay forwards, we drop down. Nice. The hawk hunting out there right now. I can see him in the distance. Sorry you guys can't. I can only show you so much. From shoulders, let's move into arms. We're going to work our way out to the wrist. So what we'll do with this, there's 2 different things happening here. Not only am I trying to draw the biggest circle, staying as tight to my body as possible the whole time, so never trying to let the arm drift away from me. I'm also playing around with rotation from up at the shoulders. So think about this seam of your shirt, and that's where the line of action is going to come from for axial rotation on top of this global rotation. So you'll get it in a second here. Here we go. Front profile, starting on the right arm. I'm rotating bicep, wrapping it outwards. I'm going to stay tight, reaching across my midline. Keep length in the elbow. We're flexing that backside to keep it long. Once we can't pull any tighter or further behind the ear, we're going to rotate everything inwards, carry on with our circle. I'm trying to lift up and backwards at the same time. I just keep wrapping inwards until I come backside. Now catch side profile here so you can get a bit of a better idea. I'm going to keep everything rotated inwards. I'm going to reach straight back and up as far as I can. When I can't go any further backwards, I'm going to wrap out again. I'm pulling backwards while I come up overhead, trying to come behind the line of the ear if you can. I'm not there just yet. I'm going to keep wrapping outwards as I scrape across the midline. Let's do that one more time. We'll see that profile again from the side here. Look out for ribs and pelvis coming apart. We're trying to keep them locked tight, and chin packed in just a little bit. We're trying not to peck the neck forwards. Everything is rotated outwards. We scrape across the midline, constantly trying to wrap out as we come up overhead, tight to the ear and behind it if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Wrap in, keep rotating, keep trying to lift while you reach back behind you. Come down to your side and reverse. Pull backwards as far as you can, rotate outwards, keep twisting outwards as you fight to pull back behind you, scraping across the midline, coming down back to where you started. Same thing on the left side. We're going to rotate everything outwards. We're going to scrape across midline. I keep fighting for rotation through this whole portion of the arc. Try to pull behind line of my ear if I can. I can't, that's okay. I wrap everything inwards and I keep lifting up behind me till I come down to the side. From the side, reaching as far backwards as I can. When I can't go any further backwards, I'm wrapping out. I'm pulling backwards as I come overhead with the intent that I'm going to pull my shoulder behind my ear. Scrapes across midline as I continue to try to wrap outwards until I'm at my side. We'll catch one more rep here. Rotating out, coming across midline, pulling behind line of the ear if we can. Wrapping is always initiated best I can from the shoulder, and it travels out towards the palm, pulling up and backwards. Reversing for our last rep here, backwards as far as we can, rotating. Is there legit a fly going on the lens right now? Is that for real? Man, that guy knows I'm filming. Come on, bro. What are you doing? Get out of here. Jeez. I just murdered his nephew, I think. That's probably what's going on. He's angry with me. So we got shoulders. We're going to take care of elbows. We'll do elbows at the same time. You're more than welcome to do them one at a time. We're going to try to keep our arms tight to our body as we do this. And we'll open up the palms like karate chop. When you're doing this, I really want you to try to pay attention to the rotation coming from the close end of your forearm and not the far end. We can fake out a lot of rotation from the wrist. We want it to come up here. So what we do is we rotate palms to try to turn out away from each other. We bend the elbow, keep rotating palms away. Now rotate palms towards each other, find length through the elbow. Now let's hit rewind. Keep elbow rotated inwards, pull palms towards shoulder, rotate palms apart from each other, and find some length. Let's just reverse all of this stuff now. So let's rotate elbows inwards, let's pull palms to shoulder, let's rotate palms out away from each other, find some length. One more time here. Let's rotate inwards, bend elbow, pull to the shoulder, rotate from the elbow, palms apart, find length. Notice again, right versus left side, and opening, supination versus closing, pronation, which felt more natural, and which direction of flow felt more natural. Cool? Stuff to listen to. Carrying on here, we're going to get into wrists. Wrists you can do one at a time, squeezing your forearm to make sure that it doesn't twist, so that all the action is coming from that crease of the wrist. We're going to keep palm open for this one. Palm closed can work. With palm being open, when you get to the flexion point, when the palm is coming towards you, it's going to want to cup or bend, so that's something you want to listen to. Keep it long. We'll do two at a time here for time's sake, but again, I encourage you or invite you to do one at a time. Starting from our neutral position, pinkies come towards each other. Pull the knuckles to backside of forearm, far as you can. Pull thumbs apart from each other, far as you can. Pull palms to inner forearm towards you without cupping. Pull pinkies together. Give you side profile here. Pulling palms down to floor or to backside forearm. Pulling thumbs apart. Pulling palms inner forearm or towards you. Pulling pinkies together. Let's reverse it. Let's bring it up towards us. Let's turn out apart. Pull palm towards floor, outer forearm, pull pinkies together, palm towards inner forearm, towards body, thumbs apart, pull down, pull them together, come up. Cool. So the next thing that we're going to get into here, we got all that upper stuff taken care of. We're going to go back for some spine work. We focus just on space between shoulder, base of the skull, our neck. Now we're going to focus on all the space between collarbone, right down to the start of the hips. For this one, what I'd like us to do is just first focus on getting a couple waves in, or a linear motion, and then we're going to layer in, because it's a little bit more advanced, going through a giant circle, kind of like with our neck. Our neck, we really could have just focused on some nodding and some extending to start out, but for time's sake, I jumped through it. So let's just be a little more thorough here. So I'm just going to get down onto my knees, suffering again for my audience here. And from here, I'm going to start with everything pulling towards the floor. Just like the neck, I'm trying to move one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to start at my hip, bring it up towards my shoulder. So here we go. From here, I'm going to tuck tail between legs. I'm going to start rounding the low back, moving about an inch at a time towards the mid back, towards the upper back. From here, everything is rounded. I'm starting at the bottom of my spine, again at my hips, tail out from between legs. I'm going to arch lower back, getting into the base of the ribs, moving through the rib line, sternum, pulling collarbones towards floor. One more time, rounding everything out. I'm going to pull tail between legs, lower back starts to round, mid back starts to round, mid up goes back, compressing sternum, compressing collarbones to finish off. One more time, getting into my back bend, legs, lower back pulling, mid back pulling, mid upper back pulling, uppermost back sternum pulling towards the floor. Here we go. How fluidly did you move in each direction, towards the floor, towards the sky? What sections felt very smooth, an inch at a time? What sections felt like it was feet at a time? So, getting into a little bit more advanced spine stuff here. Exact same thing as our neck. We're going to layer on forwards, backwards, with rotating and with side bending. For this one, we'll just go ahead and put our palms on our shoulders. We're going to start out at the line of the collarbone again and move it down. We're going to focus more on ribs here. So what we'll do is we're going to compress collarbone, compress sternum, moving towards base of the ribs. We'll rotate to the right, right shoulder behind right pocket, open up, peel backwards, chest lifts up to the sky. We're going to turn to the left. We're going to drop and fold into that left corner pocket. We'll come to center line, bring ourselves up right. Now we can go again. Give you a side profile here. Let's just go in reverse. So we're going to compress collarbone, sternum, move it through mid-back until we get to the bottom of the ribs. Rotate to the left, drop left shoulder behind left hip. Roll, peel backwards, opening up to the shoulder line, lifting sternum to the sky, chest to sky, rotating to the right. We'll fold into that right corner pocket. Make sure you're breathing through this, rotating the center line, bringing ourselves up right. Cool. You can do, again, 2 rounds of that. Most of this we did 2 reps. 1 or 2 of them take a little longer. We just did 1. So we got everything taken care of down to the hips. So now we'll get into hip stuff. Hip stuff is similar to what we did with our shoulder, except now we're going to bend the knee because it just makes the lever a little bit easier to move. If you did this with a straight leg, nothing wrong with that, but it'd be a lot harder. So here we go. For this one, I'm just doing a quick bear watch. Seems pretty clear. Saw one up on the drive though. Made me a little nervous. Not gonna lie. We'll start out with the right leg. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it tight to my body. There's some balance involved here and some danger when you're on the top of a mountain and it's this windy. God, I'm trying to rotate or wrap my thigh outwards while I lift, thinking about trying to get my heel above the line of my knee. From here, I'm gonna bring the knee on top of the heel, heel under knee. I'll lift knee as high as I can. I'm gonna pull sideways, making sure it doesn't take my hip with me. From sideways, as far as I can go, I'm gonna pause there. I'm gonna wrap inwards. I'm gonna kick the leg behind me, making sure that as I do this, I'm not tipping my torso in any direction, and then I'm also keeping my hips level, trying not to roll the hip forwards as I kick backwards, trying not to roll the hip excessively backwards when I'm reaching the leg in front of me. So now we'll reverse this. We'll kick the leg behind us best we can. We're going to pull it out to the side. We're going to bring the heel underneath of the knee. We're going to lift the knee high as we can sideways. We're going to turn heel up above knee line, reach it across, and drop it down. Nice. I'm crying. I'm bleeding out my nose right now. Snot coming out of me. This is the great outdoors. This is amazing. Here we go. Let's do one more rep of that, okay? So let's just make sure we get a second chance to try this one. It's challenging. Grab onto something if you need it. Hold a pole for some support. Reaching across midline. Really work that inner groin. That inner thigh is your groin. Heel under the knee. Now we transition front side of the hip working hard. Outside of the hip working hard to pull sideways. Side of the hip working to try to rotate. Kicking back. Now we get the backside. We get some hamstring involved. From here, kick back, reverse it sideways. Wrap, heel under knee. Lift the knee high as we can. Rotate, reach across, drop down. I'm crying. These are tears of joy. Movement joy. Other side, same thing. We're getting closer to the end here. Then I gotta hike down. Send a signal if you don't hear from me in a couple days. How would you know I can't upload from the top of this mountain? Pulling sideways, far sideways as we can go. We pause, staying still here, trying to wrap inwards. Kicking the heel behind us. Good, keeping the hip level. Backwards, pull sideways, wrap heel under knee. Keep it there as you come back to midline. Rotate best you can. Reach across. And you can see a difference between my right and left sides. I can feel a difference in power there. Coming back into that external rotation portion. This is the kind of stuff you want to be listening to or mindful of. It tells you where we need to put in work, what we need to focus on. One more rep here. Here's my pant line, letting you know how much or how little I'm keeping that hip level as I reach across, heel high. Can't get any further across. I'm going to bring the heel under the knee as high as I can without rolling the hip backwards. Pull sideways as far as I can. Now let's hold that position best we can. Wrap inwards. Oh, that's tough there. Kick behind us and reverse it. Kick back. Try to keep the knee closed. Squeeze it tight. Oh, you can see when I'm talking and trying to move at the same time, I start dumping my hip. You caught my weak spot, my kryptonite. Heel under the knee. Catch balance. Come across the midline. That would be deadly if I went that way. That would not be good. Back to where I was. Rotate and drop down. We did it. Okay, we got knees, we got ankles, we got feet, and then I'm gonna eat so many gummy bears. For the knees, I'm gonna take a seat on the ground, and hopefully you can still see me here. Pant leg comes up. Tattoo here. Observe, enjoy it, appreciate it. What it's doing is it's a good marker for you to be able to see how my shin can rotate in both directions. Lots more rotation that way than this way. So that's what we're going to be mindful of. You can just grab onto your thigh. We want to try not to let it sway, or right hand, right arm wraps under right leg, grabs left bicep, left hand over top left knee if you want to be fancy. Toes up towards shin a little bit. Pivot out, pivot in. Pivot out, pivot in. Hold in, lengthen about 3/4, rotate out, squeeze back. Turn in, lengthen about 3/4, turn out, pull back. Now reverse it. Hold it turned out, lengthen, turn in, and squeeze. Turn out, lengthen, turn in, and squeeze. Same thing on the other leg. It's the backside hamstrings that are responsible for rotating. Inner hamstrings turning in, outer hamstrings turning out. Can you listen to those levers? Same thing on the other side. Left hand wraps under left foot, grabs right bicep, right arm over left knee, rotating in, rotating out. I just like to get a rep or two in here to get a feel for rotating. Hold it turned in, lengthen 3/4, wrap out and squeeze. Rotate in, lengthen about 3/4, rotate out and squeeze. Reverse, lengthen, turn in, squeeze, rotate out, lengthen, turn in, squeeze. Ankles, similar to the shin. Now we don't want the shin to rotate. Before we were focusing on the thigh not swaying. Now we're keeping this still, and we're going to try to get rotation happening just at the ankle. Try to quiet down the toes as well. Going through that big circle, we're going to reverse it. We're going to turn the ankle out, point it towards the floor, try to turn ankle in, lift up. Ankle out, towards floor, turn in and up. Same thing on the other side. We're going to grab onto the shin. We get some feedback from our fingers to know whether or not it's rotating. You can add in sight as a cue. Turn in, point down, turn out, and lengthen. Turn in, drop down, turn out, and up. And let's reverse it. Let's turn out, let's point down, let's turn in, let's lift up. Out, down, in, and up. Cool. So finishing off with toe stuff here. I'm going to stand myself back up. And we're going to go with just trying to lift up our big toes. Oh, gross. Sorry. This is a professional video. This is done by a professional. I'm certified, part of an association. I'm 37 years old. This is me. You know what, honestly? My mom does that on the trail, and she's an adult, so a real adult, so deal with it. Okay, toe stuff, and we're done. You'll be rid of me. Let's just try to pick the big toes up and put them back down. We're keeping knuckle of big toe on the floor. We're trying not to let the other toes lift. Bring them up, bring them down. Notice as if you lift them, they drift off towards the other toes. We need to keep space between big toe, second toe. So keep that in mind. Big toe stays down, the other ones lift up, they come back down. Other ones up, they come back down. Some piano toes, all of them off the ground. Pinky first, and then fourth, third, second, first. Pinky first, and then fourth, third, second, first. So we're trying to do like that, right? And then go the other way. Start with pinky up to the big toe, pinky down to the big toe. Pinky up to the big toe, pinky down to the big toe. I just tried to race through it because I've been up on this mountain for a while now. I'm hungry. Go a little bit slower. Also, while I'm talking, it's challenging and my feet have never been that great, so give me a break. That's your assessment, head to toe. Again, it serves as a great warm-up, a great way to start your day or finish your day. Maintain whatever level of health you currently have. Get a good screening of where you may be missing it through any area that you may have felt pain or irritation while trying to move through. I hope that that's helpful. I love you all.